Welcome to Beyond the Audit, the podcast where we go beyond the numbers to explore the latest developments and trends in the finance world. I'm your host, Nolubabalo Ngagala. Today we'll be discussing cultivating inclusive leadership and diversity in Africa. Today I'm joined by Zizi Vikilahle, a director in our AOS division and also a member of our D&I in Africa committee. Zizi, in your experience, what unique cultural and societal dynamics within the African region impact the practice of inclusive leadership and the promotion of diversity in organizations?
Sonolu, you're an African, I'm an African, and our continent is beautiful. And what makes it so beautiful is because we're so culturally rich. And because of this richness in culture, there also comes with that a very rich history as well as perspectives and different ideologies from a societal, cultural, and religious perspective. And this forms the basis of who our people are and how they bring themselves when they walk through our doors. So I think it's very crucial for organizations to conscientize themselves of this and the impact of this on our teams for us to make any impactful strides when it comes to inclusive leadership.
And can you share examples of successful leadership practices that have been particularly effective in promoting diversity across industries and sectors in Africa?
I'll start with the sector that we're in, which is more around the financial services, consulting and advisory space. So the best example that comes to mind is around flexible working practices as well as work-life integration. And this is really around, organizations embracing the new norms when it comes to working and how our teams work and, not assuming identical lifestyles when it comes to, how our teams integrate work and personal. I think that it's very crucial for us to identify and understand the dynamics that play a factor within our teams and how they bring themselves when they walk through the doors, and being able to accommodate that obviously within reason, within what we do as organizations, but finding that balance, because when teams feel like there is harmony between their work and personal, they're able to bring their best selves into the organizations. And, when teams have this confidence, they're able to better innovate and collaborate with teams, which is beneficial for all of us within organizations, both themselves and for us as an organization.
And what are some of the common challenges or barriers faced by organizations in Africa when it comes to embracing inclusive leadership and fostering diversity within their teams?
As I mentioned that, we're very culturally rich. This is obviously a beautiful thing that, we can see as an opportunity. But in the same token, it's also a challenge because we're so culturally rich. There's so many diverse perspectives and so many diverse views. So I think the important thing when it comes to this is definitely self-awareness, as well as, understanding the existence of biases, whether those are conscious or unconscious. And I think that this is quite crucial for leaders to understand and be conscious and mindful of that.
And that brings me to my next question. How can organizations in Africa leverage the rich diversity of talent and perspectives within the region to drive innovation, creativity, and business growth?
So I think there's definitely an opportunity to approach business and to challenge business as an African continent. So I think we can definitely leverage technology in its various forms to collaborate as an African continent, leverage off the different diverse views and approaches on the continent to come up and be an Africa that is a challenger continent to the rest of the continents in the world.
Okay, so looking internally at Mazars, what initiatives or programs are you working on to drive diversity and inclusion across the African region?
So we have an Africa Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee or Forum that has representation across different levels within our teams in all our regions in Africa. And the focus of this committee is really around formulating strategies, right, that identify best practices, right, in terms of where we are and where we want to get to through common principles to ensure that we move together as a continent when it comes to diversity, equity and inclusion and the impact that we are wanting to make when it comes to this.
All right.
We also have used virtual platforms to enable us to collaborate in terms of engagements on the continent. So we use these platforms to have focus groups and have specific engagement when it comes to particular topics. From a South Africa perspective, we have a sustainability committee, which has as one of its focus pillars, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is to ensure that we continue to drive this within our business, as well as within our conversations and our engagements, and to have meaningful impact to ensure that we remain relevant when it comes to this for current and future team members.
Thank you so much, Zizi, for chatting to us. This was such an insightful conversation, and I look forward to see all that you do for diversity and inclusion across the African region and within Mazars in South Africa.
Thank you.